Hi, welcome to Samadi Live. Hi Facebook, hi Instagram, hi YouTube. Today we're at a beautiful Samadi Retreat Center and we're very honored to have a very special guest, Hangwang, to be with us to have a discussion about health and beauty. Okay, welcome Hangwang.
Thank you. Nice to be here. So before we start, I just want everyone to have a chance to just harmonize our energy, even people from far away. So you just sit comfortably and close your eyes. And take a couple of deep breaths. Inhale all the way down to your abdomen. Breathe into your chest. And then exhale out through your mouth. It's a very nice way to breathe and release tension in the body. And keep your eyes closed. And then I'll play a musical instrument. And just allow the sound to move your inner senses. Okay.
Thank you for that beautiful piece of music. It was really beautiful. I think we're all synchronized. So, Hangwang, this has actually been one of my favorite topics, health and beauty, as a woman. So I have a question. As a renowned healer, traditional Chinese doctor, and also the founder for Ming Herb, what is your understanding and feeling about being natural, about beauty and health?
Okay. So my intention of working with people, working with the herb in general, has always been to provide a comprehensive system.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more like looking long term. I mean, it's realistic for us to think about how do we maintain our health for the rest of our lives,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I just see that herbalism, along with diet and exercise, like the really simple things, the kind of basic necessities that we all need to do and maintain in the physical body. It's only because the physical body itself, one, needs maintenance, and then two, needs the proper kind of care in terms of food and exercise. And then this is actually how we're going to maintain our health into the old age kind of a thing, right? Or you can actually keep your body very functional,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, and youthful into what people call the old age. So in a sense, having more years behind our life, does not translate into you have to be wrinkled and out of shape and, on like 5 or 10 kind of med, which is happening into all the modern humans, pretty much in every country now, right?
Mm-hmm.
It used to be just a Westerner lifestyle thing, but then now it's just a lifestyle thing. So when I went to school, I was very fortunate to have 3 teachers who just talk about qi. And that is a very important kind of like measurement
Mm-hmm.
or something quantifiable, that we can use to measure. If we do something for 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
practically, then our qi should improve.
Mm-hmm.
Like so, if you look at most of the women that we consider to be attractive, or the men that are attractive, it's not just about all the physical features.
Yeah.
It's about the life force,
The Shakti
that
power.
primal life force that they bring to the table,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of, in a way, shine or radiate outward, right? So, like a lot of the actress and entertainment types,
Yeah.
they're used to they know how to project themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And every one of us have that ability within us.
Mm-hmm.
It's just built into the human system. It's more or less, informational and then practice. So, to be healthy is actually quite simple. It's something that we need to do regularly every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, how I look at this equation is something that I will do until whenever I leave the planet, and then I'll do some more. It's not like you go to the gym for a month and then you're gonna take 6 months off, or or like you go do yoga or whatever for a short period of time and then you stop, or using the herbs and following a certain diet that works for you, type of a thing, right? So beauty has to have the foundation of health,
Yeah.
right? So, a lot of people, men too, instead of working to improve their health, and when one is healthy, then one would naturally look better.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
absolutely true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, instead of doing that, they should do the shortcut of the Botox and the chemical things,
The
and
fillers.
and then removing chunk of skin or what have you.
Right.
And what happened is, after 5-10 years of doing that, basically the outer facial structure is ruined.
Also, the meridians and the chi cannot really go through anymore once you have a scar or some kind of energy block that caused by
Yes.
surgeries, I assume, right?
Yeah, it plays a big role, right? So when you're constantly injecting poison in your body, like Botox, it's actually very hard on the liver,
Wow.
and when the liver is burdened, then the body will start to age really fast.
Then you need to get more Botox and more fillers,
Yes, and
more
then
surgeries, vicious cycle.
Yes, it's actually a very short-term
Okay.
process, that would make people look worse, as they go, and then just become unhealthy in general.
Okay.
So my way of looking at it is, it takes time, and it takes some work, but then as you advance in years, you can maintain your strength, your health, and your beauty all at the same time.
It makes total sense. What if, let's say, I come from the city and I'm constantly under pressure of work or like being in this competitive mindset with other women. I need to be attractive. I need to look energetic, feel energetic with my work, with my relationship. I want to look hot, look beautiful, look healthy and young. And I'm already in that spin. I already have like fillers in my face or whatever, and I'm under this like tremendous stress and anxiety. What would you suggest women like this to, let's say, start their journey of being more healthy and gain their power of have their youth and their beauty and health back,
Okay.
mentally and physically?
Well, part of the modern human issue is we are all trained to trade our life force
Yeah.
for that object outside of us, right? It could be like money, translating into a better car, or a better pair of high heels and what have you.
Bags.
Bags and clothes or whatever. But all of that stuff, it's just like you are trading something that is valuable, kind of like pearls and gold within yourself, for some, in a way, for some like artificial junk.
Invaluable things.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm trading my soul with the devil.
Well, but then that's kind of like how human beings are wired or trained to be, right?
Yeah.
Like there's kind of like a saying, when a man in his 20s, he would use up his energy to make money, and then when he gets old and sick, then he will give all his money back to the doctors and hospitals. And this theme is not the exception, but it's the rule of how everything goes.
Yeah.
So, I firmly believe that within life, we can have some form of a balance,
Yeah.
right? So that is important. Like the balance between work, and the balance between play, and then keeping up to health, and however else that we need to do to kind of maintain that happy state. Because ultimately, even people like billionaires and zillionaires or whatever, if they don't have that that sense of joy or happiness, at least like short-lived and temporary, but is there, the meaning of life is very low.
Yeah.
I mean, you can only go to the 5-star hotels and restaurants to eat so much good food, and then what? So most of the happiness value is, basic. I have 3 small children. I love being with them, and then they are really like active. So it keeps me having to be active and just run around and doing this and that. And sometimes I just lay on the couch and they go run around or whatever. But so kind of like a balance in the lifestyle that we have to achieve. And then stress is actually one of the most destructive thing that we could do to our body.
Yeah.
Like anywhere between heightened adrenaline and cortisol, which is like a chronic kind of stress, right? You go to sleep and there's some anxiety or whatever. So all of these things tear down the body.
Yeah.
So, ultimately, if you don't fix your health and change the lifestyle, it's a little bit hard to hear about this part. Most people are just like, can I have a silver bullet, please? And just move on. You pop one every day and you're good. And you kind of have to work on that part of it, and this is kind of how I live. I'm just sharing how I live. I'm not saying anything mystical or, or too woo-woo out there, right?
Yeah.
Well, because once upon a time, I used to live in this stress that we all have. And the magical thing, is something that pretty much every human underestimate, is that we are amazing at creating the exact reality that we want to have.
Yeah.
That is the most important thing about change. Like, even for a person who's like, at the bottom of the bottoms of their life, if they can gather enough energy, because you need energy for everything.
Yes.
You need energy to create, energy to imagine of the possibilities.
I really feel like energy is the most important and valuable thing, and invaluable as well, because literally, as you mentioned, we need energy for everything, to create, to play, to have fun, to work, to even to feel good. We need to have energy. When we don't have energy, it's like we just feel like groggy and like just low energy. This is not a good state. Personally, I remember back in my 20s, I was under a lot of pressure. I worked a lot. I was very competitive. I was one of those high achievers, so I pushed myself a lot. I started yoga when I was 24. But when I used to do yoga, that was like, you have to be perfect. You have to do this. So there's a lot of I would say masculine energy, pushy energy that consumes a lot of my chi. And now I'm reaching, this year, 41. And I start to feel it. And my body starts to inform me with what is good for me. Like, I don't do so much strenuous yoga anymore, for example. I do a little bit yoga, but not too much.
Okay.
And I start to like Qigong more. I start to like yin yoga and breathing exercise better, because I just feel so good when I do these things. And more energy as well. And I, as I mentioned earlier to you, I started acupuncture as well, going back to my roots.
That's great. Yeah, well, you look amazing. So
thank you.
All the self-care, it pays off. So in that space, when one is down and out, if you can just gather enough resources, just imagine like the perfect life that you want, because that dream is always changing according to everything else that's going on. But at that moment, how do you want to be? Do you want to just living in a house on the beach somewhere in the world, and then, having an easier life and no stress and doing the thing that you love to do. So your doing is not really doing anymore, but it's just like an expression of your being. Everything is possible.
I agree completely.
And that is one of the amazing things with the human spiritual kind of the connection, right? So now for me, actually I spend most of the time not doing anything. I still, every time that I need to work, like now we are creating a bunch of formulas for people who have issues after the post-jab. So, Ilza and I have been busy, like I write and then she make the labels and these things like that. But then my work is not motivated by like, oh, I need to make $10,000 or $1 million or whatever. So, I just work when it's time for me to work, and other than that, I just don't do anything. So it's, how I live now is more like, I'm in a certain space and time, and then I will wait for things to come to me instead of running after things. It's just a different way of living, right? So, like one day I thought, I need a car, because we're going to live up in the mountains at some point. And then, even though I don't have the money, well, actually I do, but I just want my crypto to grow more. So I just sit there and wait. And then for many years, I have no need for a car. And all of a sudden, this idea comes. So this is how everything works. Yeah. When the idea comes, I reaffirm that, and then just patiently put it aside. I don't like draw on it and try to manifest it and all that stuff.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. Things will come in its own timing. Well, I don't want to go too deep into the whole
it's very philosophical
energetic process of it. So we are like our mind, our spiritual self, all connected to this layer of what the Buddhists call the seed, like the seed layer, right? So you have an action, and then your action will be recorded in that seed layer, and then that will create a different streams of karma.
Yeah.
So we just keep going on like that, just creating karma, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, and sometimes it's pissy or whatever. So, this is how it moves, right? So what I try to do, is just to throw a stream in there, and let that process work itself out, because it always takes some time and circumstances, right? So between the time that I just left everything in the U.S. and traveled, and then I pretty much like relocated. There was a period of like maybe 3 or 4 years of me sitting in the U.S. figuring out like what do I want to do.
Yeah.
So like I have a vision of what I want to do, and then at the right time, I sold everything and I packed up and left.
Yeah.
So this, as abstract as it is very important for our personal sense of creation. So it has a lot to do with also like we are in charge of our reality and our destiny. And then if we can step up to that responsibility, then somewhere in our process there's like a relaxation. Like a lot of people say, have trust in God, right?
Yeah.
God is there and God is also here. So you basically, what you learn to do is you trust yourself. I can't say how many times, I ran out of money in a foreign land. I dig into my pocket and it's like, enough for 1 or 2 meals, and then I start to work and and make money and then move on, you know?
Well, you're quite successful now. Like.
Well, yeah, but that wasn't really the
But
goal
what I'm
either,
trying
right?
to
I
say
understand.
is that from your story, I hear that you had a vision and you really had that deep trust for life. And you just took that leap of faith and you went for it. And life will always take care of you.
Sure.
Even when you have only have money for one meal, but work would come when you want to have a car and then something would manifest. But the important thing is to sit there and listen and not running around like a chicken with the head chopped off, as Chinese would say, you know. To really, in Chinese philosophy, I suppose, your roots as well, it's the non-doing, right? The non-doing wu wei. So, which related to today's topic, the health and the beauty, is I feel like from your story I'm learning that we need to first know what we truly want in life, a vision for our own ideal life, in order to live fully with joy, with health and vibrancy. And then we gotta have a foundational practice for maintaining our health, like healthy diet, exercise, spiritual practice, practice our qi, obviously herbals, to understand our body, to understand nature, to understand what supports our body, right? Mm-hmm. And then the most important thing is to reduce stress. And that comes from like our, let's say, desire. If we always follow our desire and want more and more and more, and then we're constantly living in this turmoil of let's say, greed.
Yeah.
Right? That creates a lot of stress.
Well, most humans are working on the primal survival issues, right? Mm-hmm. It's like this, looking at things from the perspective of lack. So money is just a source of energy, and everything is a source of energy. And we're kind of like in school, mm-hmm. and then we're being tested like in this circumstance when you don't have as much as you feel secure. Mm-hmm. How do you deal with your resources? Mm-hmm. Do you want to hoard everything and afraid to drop every cent that you have? Yeah. Or you just live in a generous way, mm-hmm. to take care of not only yourself but other people who may be a part of the experience. Some people may work for you, mm-hmm. or you're like your pambantus and whatever. Yeah. So it's like that, right? And one cannot estimate how much stress you can destroy your vehicle. Mm-hmm. So to reduce stress and you get to the point of don't have any stress will reverse your youthfulness 10, 15 years, mm-hmm. just like that. Because when people have stress, they have this really scour looking face and they're unhappy and all that stuff. Well, this these type of facial expression is also when the chi contracts, right? Mm-hmm. So you basically talk about the energy of fear, mm-hmm. and the energy of love. Yes. So love is an energy of expansion and abundance. It just comes naturally, right? Yeah. You don't have to purposely working on it and just trying to get it.
It feels so good.
Yes.
Lots of happy hormones.
Yes, well that's the whole idea behind the practice of qigong and meditation and acupuncture. Mm-hmm. Yep. Once your system becomes balanced. I mean, I have seen clients coming in looking quite haggard, and some young people too, not like they're 60 or 70 years old, haggard and run down and grumpy, mm-hmm. and then when the energy become harmonious, they walk out smiling. Yeah. So it's just a shifting state, right? So in a physiological sense, you want your body to have more of the good hormones, so that it can be not only in a happy state, the good hormones actually maintain your health beautifully.
Yes, I agree. As a woman, Because we have our period each month, hormonal balance is extremely important. I have to reveal a little secret. I was your secret admirer before I met you. I came to Ubud years ago. When I first came to Ubud, in Bali, I was just seeing all these amazing herbal medicines everywhere that if I go to a health shop, I see them. I'm like, who is this guy? Who is this Hangwang, Ming herb? And I started to ask around, and I have some friends, some from America, some from Russia. I was like, have you ever tried this product? Is it good? Because, I work in retreat and wellness and holistic health, and my life changed because of how I changed my lifestyle. So everything you're saying, I'm like, yeah, preaching to the choir. And I got into detox, and I understand how important it is to detox our body, our mind, our soul, our emotion. And when I found your products, I was like, I want to try everything. I literally bought everything. And I tried them progressively, little by little. And I read your little book, your flyer book. I was like, this guy's onto something. So I feel like you found your passion, your dharma, to offer these beautiful products that helps everybody, because I'm also noticing you have a lot of new products, which is really interesting. Can I? Yeah. Like, for example, this one is beautiful. It's called Woman Feel Good Healing Tea. Balances hormones, improves energy, and builds blood. And I'm Chinese, so I know how blood is important, like qi and xue, right? The qi and the blood creates health and beauty, right? So can you just say a little bit more about what you're doing right now and how is this helping women? Because you also recommended me to take this because I had a cyst thing. Yeah.
Well, so basically, when I was traveling around, and then after 4 years, we kind of settled here, and then we were looking at some of the markets in Ubud, and they basically have very little herb. So after we settled, I started to make the basic 4 formulas of Ming herbs in the form of a capsule.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then from that, I was surprised by the response. So for the next 3 years, we made like 40 some different formulas of Ming herb. It basically, within that, if one have an idea of how to use it, it's a very good healing system.
Yeah.
Because most people think about, I go to the hospital or doctor when they already have symptoms. And the symptom most of the time become very severe that it's threatening to their lives.
Yeah.
Right? So this is like a very late stage process. So these herbs were created to catch your system, at the time when you just have small symptoms. Oh, like my nail is soft, and my
hair breaks down, or my complexion is not as radiant.
Yeah, like the skin start to,
or pimples,
age or pimple, and or like problem with digestion or pooping, and some of these small things.
Yeah.
So these small things at the beginning will eventually lead to the larger things at the end. Right? So by the time you get to medication and surgery and radiation, the body's already very run down state. So it will take much more work to reverse that process versus, invest the little time and energy and resources to prevent this, and your life will be a lot more enjoyable in the process, right?
So this is very much like traditional Chinese medicine, which has thousands of years of wisdom, which is all about prevention, right? Before it becomes a big symptom, you want to tackle the issue before it manifests into something serious.
Yeah.
And I love it because it's like tea. I could have it, I don't have any feeling like, oh, I'm taking medicine. And they taste yummy too. I really, really like them. Yeah.
Well, so after the Ming herb thing, so we were just making that for years and years. And then I had in the back of my mind for a long time to make a line of teas because, for children, these teas are also amazing.
Really?
Yes. You can give them like we have the alkalizing and mineralizing. It basically like a plant-based and kind of this substance called shilajit. It's a humus that has been grind down for millions of years in the high Himalayas.
Wow.
So kind of like, because it's very hot up in the summer, right? Because it's so high up, and then it's extremely cold. So, in the spring and towards summer, the earth would ooze out this substance that is called shilajit. So like I think it's about 78% fulvic acid. You should look it up, like the amazing thing that you can benefit from fulvic acid. And then like it has a complete set of minerals and micronutrients.
Wow, amazing.
Shilajit is the most complete. So, for the most part, the modern human diet is deficient in mineral, just simply because of how things are grown and how things are raised nowadays. So that's a very helpful formula. So with the powder, it's very child friendly. We have a cough and flu formula for children. And if they like, I need all the sweet, you can just add some honey to it. So all my small children trained to take the tea and have the capsule. And this is a thing that kind of keep them healthy. If they're here tonight, we would not be able to talk like this because they'll be running all over the place. So I had it in the back of my mind to make a line of teas, and then I was in kind of like a legal conflict in a divorce about ownership of Ming'er. So I thought, okay, and I will make another line brand. So it's
be very creative.
Well, it's actually a part of the tea is that, I make the formulas more efficient, right? So, we have like a, on-one detox, which is good for the liver, the kidneys, and the lymphatic system. And then you can adjust the strength of what you need, by the amount of tea that you put into your cup. Right? And it also, these teas are made of 10-to-1 extracts. So it basically take 10 kilo of dry herbs, process, and then you make 1 kilo of extract. And that's why it's relatively
very potent. Yeah, very potent.
And then we have very good response. From the tea that after people use them. And the one that use capsules also have a good response, but it's just like a different. And I was also thinking that like in Europe and North America in the wintertime, people want teas. Which is as a habit of.
Also, the Chinese always want teas because we also believe that if we drink cold drinks, it interrupts the temperature of the stomach. In traditional Chinese medicine, in many Asian culture, we all prefer like room temperature tea or even warming tea, depends on your dosha, your body type, which is really maybe one of the secrets about Asian women being useful, So, tea is great. I was going to ask you what's the difference between this tea and other tea, but you have already answered my questions. So
okay.
Thank you.
So now like we're focusing on the post-vax teas, or like a supplemental thing that can help to reverse some of the damage for those people that have the damage. So this is our topic for
next time.
October 22nd.
October 22nd. So this is more for like everyday use, prevention, even good for kids, some of them. I see you also have better sex, lots of popular teas. Well, for people who are watching on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, if you want to purchase this amazing natural herbal tea from Hangwang, you could just like click the link to buy with the discount code. The discount code is called Samadi10, SAMADI 10, okay? And you'll receive 10% discount if you purchase right now. And for people who cannot order online, you could also just go to www.han/wang.com. Actually, HANG Han / and then Wang WANG.com. Okay? All right, just a little something to let people know, because I'm really passionate about these amazing products, and for me it's like, if I have tried it and it's amazing, it's really good, and I have no problem sharing with the whole world. So hopefully you can like try it out and share your experience with us in the future.
Yeah, well, the other thing that is very popular that we sell a lot of is the herbal coffee.
Oh yeah.
So it, it's basically it has wild reishi and wild chaga. Both of these mushrooms are amazing for the immune system, and it also like very antiviral.
Yeah.
And then reishi is also quite calming to the nervous system.
To the heart. Shin and Shen.
The Shen.
Shen,
Yeah.
yes.
So like in the old days, like the Taoists, would use the wild red reishi, as a tea that they take before every meditation, and just help them to calm down, right?
Yes, I was reading about wild reishi. And of course, I'm always interested in understanding mushrooms, because how wonderful and magical they are. And with reishi, traditionally, as either Chinese or Korean, we all understand how important reishi is for our Shen, and how it's related to even one's spiritual practice. So it makes total sense that you mentioned that. Yeah. And chaga is also an amazing superfood as well.
Yeah, well, chaga is known to be like the longevity.
Yeah.
Well, both of them are, but chaga definitely like a natural two above, right? So chaga, in Russia and some of the Eastern European countries, is used to cure cancer. So like, if you want to go to that level, you would make a tea out of it and drink it all day long. That's like the only thing that you drink. Or
like a chaga reishi tea fast.
Something like that. I mean, you can still have other things.
Okay.
But then, you basically drink that, or you can take a chunk of the chaga, put it in your mouth and chew it, and then sleep with it. I mean, there are stories that some of the natives, even in North America, every time they have some kind of a cancer, they would put a chunk in their mouth and they just hang on to it for days and days.
Wow.
So chaga has kind of like a unique property that you can cook the same amount 3 or 4 times and you still get pretty strong tea out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
You
amazing.
can cold brew it as well, yeah?
I'm not sure what do you mean cold
Cold brew. I had this roommate. He's an Italian scientist, obsessed about reishi mushrooms and chagas. And he actually would go into the nature and pick the chaga mushroom by himself and dry them, process it himself. And he would, because we used to be roommates and we all both love like all healthy wellness topics. And he would cold brew them. He says when you cook it, he tried to like not cook it for so long, not with hot water, not so long. He said it like reserves more potency or something.
Yeah, well, perhaps.
Yeah.
So I just brought in like a lot of chaga, like the raw ones. So we're going to have it on the market as soon as we can get all the labels done and all that stuff. And I also make some tinctures out of them with sake. So definitely like a more raw version of things. So we'll see how that comes out.
Very exciting.
Because most of the time, most of the tinctures are made with really harsh either alcohol or like something like hexane or some other chemicals. So sake, can extract the mushroom beautifully, and then it gives you like a very nice taste. So it's more of a flavorful drink, and at the same time is highly potent in terms of its medicinal value.
I feel like you're such an artist. I remember one time you said, taking the capsules, it does the job, but there's no experience. Like drink the tincture, it's an experience. So that for me is like another level, being a healer, like that's artistic. That's really what I would call healing art. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. I learned so much. Very informative. Yeah.
And within the herbal coffee, it's organic chicory. So it tastes a lot like the real coffee. And then we source it from a family in Latvia that has been roasting chicory, growing them and roasting them for about 30 years. So these people know about chicory. And so it's quite an experience. We basically have that coffee almost every day. Especially one of the reasons why the people who look at the current situation, with all the craziness, use chagas, because chaga, for one, is the most potent antiviral. Mushroom herb, or the mushroom in the mushroom world. And the second thing is that it prevents the virus from hooking onto our cells, so that it can make more of it. So a lot of the people who got sick from it, their immune system is so low that when the virus gets in, it has no way to reproduce itself. So it needs to hijack somewhere in our system that is weak. It can be like floating around, but then if it's not able to hook onto our cells, get inside and reproduce, eventually our immune system will come in and kick it out. And so chaga also has a very high level of vitamin D3. Vitamin D3 is nowadays is like an essential thing that we must have enough of in the body. So since the beginning, they have done a lot of research, and they found that the people that die from the virus itself has about 22 nanogram per milliliter of blood, right? So that's kind of like the value that that they found. So you can actually have a lab test, to find where your level of vitamin D3 is. Okay, so now the people who research vitamin D3 against the virus is saying that if you have 50 nanogram per mil, you're pretty safe. And then from 60 nanogram on up, you basically don't really get sick from it. And then if you do, it's very mild. And then vitamin D3, but you can get from sunshine also. So you expose your certain amount of skin in the day. you will get some vitamin D3. Without the sunscreen and all that.
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, for sure. So, okay, time flies so fast. I have one more last question. On behalf of all the audience right here, and also for audience on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, what would you recommend us women with these teas? Like, if we want to be healthy and maintain our youthful look, and like, where should we begin?
Okay. Okay. So the most important part that everybody should do, like maybe once every 6 months, or just doing it in the first year or two, depending on where your body is in terms of how clean it is. I would recommend you do a detox, right? Before you can effectively, build like, beautiful skin and, and whatever that glow in your skin. You need to clean your body. So from the perspective of detox, you can need to work on the gut, just like, and then the all-in-one detox. So for the gut, the thing about the tea is that with the Ming herb, we were like very serious, and we hired like a branding guy, and then we look at like, okay, let's make it herbal with more medical kind of thing, so we kind of orient everything toward that.
Yeah.
So with the tea, I say, well, why don't we just make it playful, like how I usually am.
I know, I can see it. Better poo.
Yeah. So we.
No. I'm all about better poo. I mean, like, for the beautiful skin and everything beautiful body, you gotta have better poo.
Yeah. So. So the name is a little bit funky for some people.
I love it.
They may not see it as a serious line of herb, but then they are. So basically, you detox, right? And the second thing is with the better poo and the all-in-one detox. That's all you need.
So I can mix it.
Yeah, you can mix it into
one teaspoon each and one cup.
Into the same cup.
Okay.
And then we have herbs in there that would mineralize. Very important. Once your body is properly mineralized, then it doesn't break down. Most of the time, like, people through the diet and nowadays lose a lot of minerals and collagen, right? Collagen is the thing that, being Asian, that's kind of like the advantage we have, because our constitution have higher levels of collagen. So and that's why you see some of these, older Asian women, and their face still smooth, without all the lips and tucks, right? And
you just demystified the Asian beauty.
So and it's also in the diet, right? Because most of the Chinese are meat eaters, so they have that tendency to eat like the pig feet, which is almost 100% collagen. Well, in the old days...
What about plant-based collagens? What do you recommend?
It's actually very difficult.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was thinking like seaweed?
Very difficult. Some. So in our mineralizing formula, it also has some seaweed.
Okay, so if you're vegan or vegetarian, you don't want to go for the pig feet, you'll go for this. Okay.
Yeah, and then in regard to minerals, we'll have a new product out, right? I know about pearls for a long time, but I just don't pay attention to it because I was more into the more serious herbal things, right? So, and then now, like, my mind is a little bit flexible, so I create like things that are a little bit more playful. So pearl, if you hydrolyze it in China, they found a way to hydrolyze it into like very thin powder, like very loose, fine powder.
Yeah.
And then it's 98% absorbable. That's pretty incredible, for any type of a mineral in general. If you take like some stones or some seashells and you grind it down, you won't have that kind of absorbability, much lower. If they're like 1/3 versus pearl absorbable, then you'll be like very happy. So, so the pearl mineral things are going to come like maybe in the next 2 or 3 weeks, depending on how quickly we can make the labels and have it moving.
Okay.
And then we have.
We have some guests here.
We have some
Our ducks. I think they're trying to get it on or something. They just made 7 or 6 babies. Getting ready for more.
So within all of that, we also have like formulas called, beautiful skin, and it's basically it's a form. It had herbs in it to kind of heal the skin and then bring out the, like better blood flow and things like that.
Okay.
And another thing that you can dive into is using some of the mushroom formulas to build your immune system.
Okay.
And then also to build your adrenals and kidneys energy. So the adrenals and kidney energy are like the foundation to your whole being, right? So when you have more abundant available energy, naturally you will look more radiant.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So to wrap it up, first for detox, better poo and all-in-one detox. And if you want to have more radiant skin, you choose beautiful skin. If it's a hormonal issue, you can choose something like, the woman feel good. Because when hormonally balanced, you also have better skin. And energy-wise, you recommend the chaga, more energy. What about herbal coffee? Because that's like chaga and reishi together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So either this one or this one.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. And I was reading this one earlier. It's called anti-aging. So is this just for aged women like me, or even younger women can take it? I don't know.
Well, anybody can take that.
Okay.
There's a chemical that you find in the red grape.
Oh yeah.
Let me see what. Okay. I always have problems saying this one. Read this word.
Oh.
Resveratrol. Resveratrol. So anyway, like if you that chemical compound, if you take it like first thing in the morning, and then you wait like an hour before you eat, then what it does is that it puts your body, into this state as though you are fasting.
Wow.
So when you're fasting, your body starts to heal, starts to do a lot of things very differently than when you are not in a fasting state, right? So, so this is the
resveratrol extract.
Yeah. So this is one of the things that I usually add to my tea first thing in the morning.
Okay.
And the other thing that I do first thing in the morning is that there's an enzyme called serapeptase. And
in which products?
Well, it's not out yet.
Okay.
It'll be out soon. I've been kind of experimenting, taking it for a couple months already. So serapeptase, what it does is that it dissolves the arterial plaque, and it also eats up all the dead protein in the body.
Okay.
You know, so sometimes if you're too tired or whatever, our system not be able to clean out the bad protein.
Mm-hmm.
So you see people, they have like all these layers, right?
Yeah.
You know, and it also helps to clear the fibrin in the blood.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an amazing, it's actually made from the gut of the silkworm. You know, so they extract this enzyme out of there.
Wow.
Right, so it clears things at a very minute level that eventually, if you take it long enough and at the potency that you need, then it will change your meat and the tissue structure.
That's
You know,
amazing.
making it more youthful.
I'm taking it home with me, this one.
Yeah.
Adding it in my morning tea. Wow.
Yeah, you can have that, and then the one with the serapeptase.
Okay.
I think also have some of the resveratrol. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, Hangwang, thank you so much. It was so beautiful and informative, and every time when you come, and I just learn so much, and this is such a joy and pleasure to have you with us, and really appreciate the music as well. And thank you, Facebook, thank you, Instagram, thank you, YouTube. And if you haven't purchased these amazing products yet, remember to use your coupon with your 10% discount coupon. It's Samadi10. If you click on the link, SAMADI10, Samadi10, 10% discounted coupon. Okay? All right. So we're going to close for the online sharing and open for our offline interaction and questions. Thank you so much. See you soon, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.
So the question also on people?
I think just offline discussion. Yeah.
That was very nice.
Yeah.
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 When we talk together, it's like a time.
I know. I'm the time watcher.
Hi.
Yes, hello.
Hi, thank you so much for the lovely lecture. I'm a big fan of Herbal Coffee. So I'm doing the organized lymphatic system detox next week, and I have 3 of the capsule products. The lymphatic detox, kidney detox, and the colon cleanse.
Yes.
So my one question is, the tea and the capsules, are they doing detox deeper if they're done together? Or is it just kind of like, if you like more the tea, or if you like more the capsule, should I do my tea also in addition to the capsules?
Can you turn it off? You can use this mic. Can you pass through?
Okay, so that was one question. And another one is, if we're not doing the detox where we're juicing and doing something significantly like that, and we just do it for the maintenance case, right? Would we be using then the same capsules along with our diet that, assuming we're supporting detox and it's not the completely opposite that it's supposed to be? So is it for maintenance also, or maybe tea is better in that case?
A lot of it is depending on how you approach it. So when you do a detox, I recommend you do the colon, the liver, and the kidneys at least at the same time. Because there were a lot of people who complained at the beginning that when they do the colon cleanse, either they have reactions from the kidney or the liver, right? So when you cleanse, things will get stirred up. And when either the liver is weak, few people will feel nauseous, or like if the kidney is weak, you will feel soreness in the kidney, or even like to a point of pain. So So, and that's why we kind of change our way of suggesting how to use it to have these big three things going. And then have the lymphatic system, since it's moving through the kidneys, so some kind of a detox and preferably like a support for the kidney would be very helpful. Okay, so the one thing about the tea is that it's probably more abundant, in terms of like, because it has like 60 grams of 10-to-1 extract powders in it, whereas like the 90 capsules have about they're about 41 milligram per capsule, and it turned out to be 90, so like about 360 were about, okay, so about 367 to 400 grams, roughly. So you just get a lot more out of the tea in general. So, part of the making of the tea is also to make it more efficient in terms of how much stuff you have to take, right? And the second thing is that, depending on the level of detoxing one does, if one just have like eat normal or salad or whatever, having the capsule is okay. Because the capsule, also needs to break down in the stomach, so it requires a certain amount of work. For people who are like fasting or on a light juice fast, it will be less taxing on the body with the tea, because it's already processed. Like the nutrient and the medicine is available the moment you put it into your body, so the body doesn't have to work in a way, so it just gets absorbed relatively quickly. So these are just the variables that you're playing with. So how you want to do it is kind of like, it's a personal thing. Okay.
We're open for questions. If there's any like comments or questions, it's welcome. Okay. Then we'll just wrap it up right here. Thank you so much for coming to see us and have a conversation. We'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.